Welcome everybody to the Creator Dreams podcast. My name is Rudy Science. I'm here with Alfred Banks, Underdog Central on
Dig.
Spotify and everywhere else. Do you go by Alfred or Underdog Central? Like, how should I call you?
So my label is Underdog Central. My name is Alfred Banks.
Okay. So like Alfred, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
All
Or
right,
Banks,
cool.
either way.
Or Banks. All right. I'm going to say Banks. I like Banks.
Perfecto.
But yeah, man. So yeah, he has a lot of value to give to you guys. This conversation and this whole project is all based off helping creators out and maybe shaving off some years for creators, people in the music industry, any kind of creative field. There's a lot of errors and problems and things that can be made. And my goal is just to give some perspective to the world based off people that are actually in the fight right now doing the good thing when it comes to creating music, creating videos, like for videographers, photographers, anything creative. And the best way that I feel that I can do that is by interviewing people like you, Alfred or Banks, and just giving them some perspective based off your experience. And hopefully the world can see it. And, for that creator that's having some uncertainties or he's uncomfortable or not confident, maybe, you can inspire them with some of your words. And that's ultimately the goal of just the Creator Dreams project, man. So
Well, I
without further
appreciate
ado,
your energy. We need that energy in the world, I'll tell you what.
thank you, man. Would you like to just like starting off, just introduce yourself, where you're from, like where do you come from and just the general information about yourself?
Well, my name's Alfred Banks. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, the Uptown part of that city. And I've been rocking for about 16 years now. This year will make 17 years that I've been rapping. I've, been all over the world with it. Played all kinds of stages and stuff like that. Put out all kinds of music. Just been doing it for a long time. I still have a very powerful, very strong hunger for it. To just level up and keep going up the ladder, as it were. And this is all I ever wanted to do. So I'm living my dream as we speak.
Heck yeah, man. So one thing that I noticed about you, like, yeah, your catalog goes so far back. And I'm like, I know it hasn't started there. It started prior to that. And you said you've been doing this for 15 years before, or like that
16.
moment where 16 years, where did it start? Like from the moment that you weren't doing it. And then like at that 16-year mark, like the beginning of it, like what were you doing right before that? And then like, how did you just transition into like creator mode? Started rapping and writing.
Well, I say my career started June 6, 2009. That's the first time I jumped on stage. And that's the very first, that's when I consider my career started. But before that, I was in high school putting out music on MySpace and putting out, just really putting out music on MySpace. That was like how it started, and doing like little poetry slams locally in my high school. I had never performed outside of my school. And then doing like improv in school, like writing plays and acting them out in front of the school for pep rallies and stuff was kind of like my introduction to just being in front of people and being able to like rap in front of people and stuff like that. But June 6th is when it kicked off. June 6th, 2009, I did a concert. I opened for a guy by the name of Truth Universal, a credible MC. And he had a showcase called Grassroots. And I was in a group at the time, like a 4 or 5 person group. It's called Fresher Peoples. And me and my dog, KRSB, who would turn into Caesar, my producer, we just rocked out. You know what I mean? Jumped up on stage, and he kind of understood that maybe the live performance aspect wasn't for him. But for me, it was everything. And I caught the bug. And pretty much since June
Mm,
6, 2009, I put a little hard out.
okay, okay. And I could have sworn I saw a video of you skating. Would you skate a little bit, like ride a skateboard?
I used to back in the G before I fractured my ankle foot, and I sucked. I sucked at. I was awful. Uh, Learned how to ollie. I could ollie my butt off, and I could jump off like stair sets and stuff, but I couldn't flip. I couldn't do no flip tricks. And the one time I almost did, I fractured my ankle in 2012, I want to say. So I stopped skating about 14 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked that question was because, when I started my music stuff, I I was in, like, ninth grade, and I was skating, like, heavy, like, I wasn't, like, 7 stair max, like, heel flip and a ollie, like, that's really all I can do.
Mhm.
That was that transition point where I can say, like, I started creating as well, man. But for you, like, I noticed when I was listening to your music, it doesn't sound like the New Orleans music that I grew up to. And the reason why I say that is just because I was listening to like a lot of No Limit back in the day, like Mystical and, what Master P and his whole clan and all of that, like when Snoop Dogg was around. And like that specific NOLA sound that I don't know what that instrument is. That dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's just pianos and like
It's like a
there's a lot of
clav almost.
samples. That what that sound you're talking about is like it's called the brown beat. It's a sample of bounce music.
Yeah.
There's a like a specific tempo and stuff. It actually samples a New York song. It's called Drag Rap. The shot was it, but it was a group, and then bounce music. Pretty much the backbone of bounce music is sampled in that song. So
Mm,
that's from a song called yeah.
okay. Okay. I thought it was obviously it is a certain instrument or something, right? But I heard that from Juvenile and stuff like that, but then when I heard your music, to me, it was when I went to Bourbon Street, I saw a lot of, like, the live performances, like, the drummers and stuff like that, And, like, to me, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like some of your music is influenced by that style, like, the live performance style of music. Am I accurate or am I way off? Because that's what I hear.
Like how can I put it? Like New Orleans inspired me from how much the live show is important here. And so like that's kind of the main way that I've gotten my word across is from live shows and live performance. So yeah, I am inspired in that regard, like the tenacity of the amount of shows you do, the effectiveness of the concert, what the concert looks like, stuff like that. But for me, that's pretty much where the inspiration kind of stops. New Orleans has never really been inspirational to me in a musical sense. I think what we've done, throughout the history of hip hop, we have two of the biggest, if not the biggest, hip hop labels of all time coming out of New Orleans, and probably about 4 to about 7 of the biggest music acts of all time came out of here. Hip hop, just talking hip hop wise. So it does inspire me that success is possible here, but musically, none of my stuff sounds like New Orleans, and I'm a part of like a generation.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a part of a generation that, to some degree, has, when it comes to New Orleans, not quite cracked the, how can you say, like that next level in the city because my sound doesn't sound like, it doesn't have horns in it, it doesn't have like that brass band
Uh,
kind of feel or like a
yeah.
bounce sound. But that also, again, the live music aspect inspired me. So I took what New Orleans taught me as it pertains to live shows, and I went elsewhere and I toured all over the world, and I was able to kind of make my name outside of the city and thus come back to the city. And now I have a little bit of a name here. But to answer your original question, yeah, I am inspired by the live performance aspect in New Orleans like a mug for sure.
Okay. And, I've always been like a solo operator when it comes to this creative stuff. I do have some friends that also make music, but I'm like a one man team a lot of the times. I'm kind of curious and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued and I'm curious at the same time. Like how, because you work with a band, right? Or you have friends that make like that also
No,
play. So how do you?
I have a bunch of friends who play in bands, and I have a bunch of producer homies and stuff like
Okay,
that.
okay.
And I once was in a duo, but not
Mm,
anymore. That duo lasted about 3 years, like in a way that was notable.
mm.
But of my 16 years, 13 of those years, I've been solo.
Oh, dang. Okay, dude. It looks like the quality of your sound and your visuals. It looks like you have a solid team behind you, which you might still have a solid team behind you. I don't know, but
So
it looks good, man.
yeah, I thank you. First of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and I work really hard to make sure my quality is, at least the best it can be, given the budget that we have. I will say, like, I've had people throughout the years that have always like helped me out and kind of put me in position, and when it comes to people that are in the video space, I've always had a knack for finding guys or gals or people who when they come up just happen to have the eye, they just don't have the opportunity, and put them in position to kind of, I'm doing something big, doing a big concert, and some of their best, most notable content that they ever create, or the first stuff that they really make and edit to get themselves off the ground is usually what I do, like one of my concerts. And then they go off and go do amazing things with their lives. So it's really dope, which I love, you know what I'm saying? So, and then people have, booked me for shows. I got my man Marcel P. Black as a homie. He, throughout the years have kind of helped me get into these different markets and different cities and stuff like that. And people have kind of done that throughout my career, where they'll kind of throw me a bone, and all I need is the look in the room, and I'll kind of take it from there and kind of like do the thing. So definitely throughout my career, I've had people like help me out 1000%. But when it comes to like the execution of things and getting things done, 95% of it has always been me. Even with management and things like that, like my management helps me out. They kind of help close the deal on certain things. But a lot of the things that I've done is usually me conjuring up the activity, as it were.
Okay, okay. I get that, man. So, who produces like most of your music? Is it you?
That's an interesting question. So I don't produce. The first, from 2009 to 2019, 97% of everything that came out was produced by a guy by the name of Caesar, CZA. My man Chris Bunch. I went to high school with bro. He was my, you know what I'm saying, like best friend, like of almost 20 years now. No, wait, 20? Crazy. Wow, I gotta shoot him a message like, yo, we've been friends for 20 years. How about it? So he produced pretty much everything. I don't have like, but at that point, I started to kind of branch out and work with other people. So for pretty much since 2020, I've worked with several people, all kinds of
Okay.
people. My man Cedric Avenue out of Denver, my man Pell, I work a lot with. I was in duo with this white boy, did some shit. But then also, I have lately, my newest thing is I'm working with my dog Luther Vandals. He's from Brooklyn, I want to say. I hope I ain't got his borough wrong, but he lives in Sacramento, California. And he's producing my next project just a month. So I'm locked in with bro right now. But there's no like one person anymore. It's just kind of like
Okay.
whoever I vibe with in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. The reason why I asked that question was because when I was going through your catalog, I heard a consistent sound. Like it was different. Like the songs sound different, the stories, like, and we're gonna go into that because right now we're going from the past and like the present into the future. I heard a consistent sound, and that's why I said like that live style of instrumentals. It was consistent. And shout out to your producer, like your boy, like SZA, right? CYCZA, SZA,
Caesar, C-I-C,
SZA. Okay.
but Caesar, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Shout out to him, man, because the producer and artist relationship, like something like that you guys had is very rare. And hopefully, like he's doing great. You're obviously doing great. So, mad respect on that end.
Yeah, he's a father of two. He's an art teacher at a very prestigious high school here in the city. So he's doing incredible. And we still talk to my dog, but like he'll still produce some stuff for me occasionally here and there. I actually have a song with Swerve Strickland. He's a former AEW world champion in wrestling, and my man Caesar produced that joint. I've been sitting on that joint for about 5 years actually. Swerve's very first feature as a rapper was on my song, which is crazy to even say out loud.
That's crazy. One of your songs, you were I mean, a few of your songs you mentioned, I think like two or three songs you mentioned COVID, right? And then I think one song that I heard was specifically like a COVID song. And
Mhm.
to me, it sounded like it did affect you. And I mean, it affected everybody, of course, but you were able to translate that through your music. So, can you go into that a little bit? Maybe for somebody that, because a lot of people got affected, like depression went high, like suicide went high, got higher since then. A lot of things happened because of that. And yeah, can you just like elaborate on that situation and then why it affected you so much, specifically you?
Well, that story that you're talking about is a song called "Crib." It's off of my album, "One Guy Standing by Himself," and that's a fictional story. But COVID was very instrumental in my life because I had a day job. I worked at a smoke shop. I don't smoke or drink or anything. I never have in my life, but I worked at a smoke shop for like 9 years. And the irony, I didn't never smoke weed, but I used to sell bongs, which is hilarious. I worked there for 9 years, and the pandemic closed that job. And I was in a relationship for 7 years with a young lady, and that relationship ended during COVID. And I had 60 concerts booked all across the United States, and all those shows got canceled. So I lost pretty much everything during the pandemic. You know what I mean? And so I was in a really bad place. Really, I wasn't in a good space. And so I made that project because all I had was music. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's pretty much all I had at that point. Was trying to just figure out what my life was gonna be, and even though I'd already toured the world, I'd already done a million concerts, and I already was a star of a Volkswagen commercial. Like I already did some great things, but I always had a day job, and so when my main even music was starting to become financially like a thing, I didn't really start making consistent money in music until about maybe 6, 7 years into my career. So around year 10, um and all of a sudden like my support system is gone financially. It was just like, what am I going to do? And so I had to kind of pivot and make some things happen and hustle in a bunch of different ways. And I think it was August 2021, I decided to jump out full time and become a full time rapper. So I became a full time rapper because of the pandemic. You know what I mean? So the pandemic is very important. I hated it. I hated it during the time. I found myself in ways that I didn't want to go through the struggle to do, but I'm glad I did. And I became a grown up during the pandemic. I was officially alone. Nobody was helping me. Nobody was in my corner anymore. I was dolo. And so I had to really figure it out. So I spent 3 years from 2020 to 2023 getting my life together and learning how to do all kinds of things, learning how to cook, learning how to pay my own bills, and learning how to like do all these things that I would depend on my partner to do. I would just
Mm.
provide the money and they would do it. I had to do it myself. And so just learn how to do all these things, and became an adult during the pandemic. So I was 6 years ago, I was 28. I was 28 years old. I was 28 going on 20. Learning how to 21, 28 going on 21, learning how to do adult things.
Okay. So throughout that whole time, so you basically COVID happened, relationship split apart. You had to like really focus on becoming independent, whether that be paying through your bills, cooking for yourself, like you said. And then like were you, because of all of those concerts that went away, what did you do in the creative space that kept you going throughout that time? Were you still like, were you in the studio or in your home studio? Were you writing more? Were you recording, making music? Did you come up with a plan in the interim?
I was kind of trying to figure it out kind of in real time, just like everybody else, because we had never experienced anything like this before as a nation. And
Hmm.
so I didn't know what to just I know what I did was I pressed up I had a bunch of merch that I had just pressed up getting ready to go on the road. So I had to just reach out to my fans directly, and they were just supporting buying my merch and stuff, which was keeping me in a good space. It was still giving me that feeling of talking to my fans directly. And I feel like a lot of people just understood that, service workers, people in the medical field, and creators were the ones that really took a hit during the pandemic. And so everybody was just so forthcoming with energy, positivity, and money. And it was really dope. I shot some videos. I shot a video called for a song called The Wave. My people, Corey Jackson, they shot that. And I don't know what the pronouns are, and I don't want disrespect. So they shot that, and they were really dope. Right before the pandemic, I was on tour with Tank and the Bangers, real tough. Tank and the Bangers, like this big band out in New Orleans. And at that point, I had a team. I had a team at that point for probably about 6 months. It was my DJ Novi, my round, Corey Jackson. They were like my assistant slash videographer slash everybody else on the road, and it was just us three, and we was rocking. And then when the pandemic hit, you know, my DJ didn't have a day job. He was my DJ, and that was his job. And then, he had to go get a day job, and Corey had to go get a job as well. So I kind of lost them. But then, like,
Mm,
Corey came back around and we was rocking real tough. And I started creating the project. I started working on 2 projects at the time, and one of them came out, which was called One Guy Standing by Himself. And it was just, making sure I was good on my vaccines. And I got in the studio with my man at the Hut Studios here in New Orleans. Just trying to create, man. Just centralize my energy into something. Because it was like, I even said it in a rap. I used the beat today for something else, but I said, I lost the love of my life from this rap shit. So why should I give it everything that I got? Probably because it's the only thing that I got.
mm.
Uh, and I feel like it's my way to the top. And I'm a fuck up, and this the only place where I'm not. As I felt at the time, I was just like, yo, music is the only place I'm of any value before I got into therapy and shit like that. And so I might as well put my all into this thing that is the only thing I got.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So, yeah, you did overcome. Well, more power to you, man, and mad respect. Like a lot of people quit during COVID, man. A lot of people quit, and I respect the fact that you actually carried. You did find a plan. You worked on 2 projects. You interacted with your fans. You sold merch like in the interim. So like that, you might have not have known that was a plan, but that was something that you executed, and I'm sure you learned a lot from.
I did. One of the biggest things I learned, man, was this shit can be taken away from you in a heartbeat. Because first 10 years, okay, 2009, first like maybe 6 years of my career, it was me getting it out the mud. You know what I mean? Doing local showcases, regional showcases, just trying to get heard. Around 2015 is when things changed. I did this like Revolt TV competition thing, and I won it. And I didn't even know it was a competition. I just was so good live that they was like, yo, we just gonna give you this win. It was really dope. In 2016, I did this Volkswagen commercial, and that was the most money I ever made from rap at that point. And it was the first big check, and it changed my whole view. So I knew that, like, you know, hard work would pay off, but I didn't know it was gonna do all that. And then so from like 2017 to like 2019, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was still working my butt off, but I wasn't as active as I used to be, conjuring up, you know, business. People were calling me, people were emailing me, people were hitting me up, and I was getting hit up to go on tour with these big acts, Big Free, Tanky the Bangers, etc. Mickey Fax, Mega Ran, Grammy-nominated Mega Ran, etc. And it was crazy. It was like, wow, everybody's calling me. I'm on the cover of magazines. I'm doing all the things. It was tight. I'm doing festivals with Kendrick Lamar and all these things. It was like, whoa, this is crazy. And COVID was like, and scene.
Mm,
It was like, rap of that. And so a rap on that. And one thing COVID taught me was, okay, I got to get back to, I got to get back to ground zero, which is shooting people DMs, trying to, conjure up some business, trying to get some money flowing in, trying to at least get some opportunities back. Cause I keep it a buck with you. Post COVID, I haven't been on the road on a big tour since, the whole industry changed. Like there is no artist a chance anymore. That's dead. It's like the only way you get to go on tour with a big act is if you draw as many people as the headliner. Period. And if you don't, then go figure that shit out. And so pre-COVID, it was a little bit easier. I was able to get on the road with these big acts because people saw the talent and saw the potential. Now it's kind of like, yeah, we don't care if you got potential or talent. How many people do you draw? If this venue holds 500 people, we need you to draw 600 people. And if you can't, then you can't open. So it's a lot of those things I had to pivot and learn, just create. I had to, get back to the grind, get back to the hustle of it. And luckily for me, that's kind of my specialty.
good, good. That's a good specialty to have. You mentioned it twice, that Volkswagen commercial, and I want to say this before I forget because after the first time I forgot. But I don't know if you know. You probably do know this, but do you know? I'm gonna ask you first. Do you know why? Like, because you had another song go. Was it Peloton or something like that, or some other one, right? Do you
Yeah.
know why
Yeah.
they like businesses are attracted to your sound? Because I feel like I can hear it. So I'm just wondering if you well, like
I would love the
what. Okay,
POV on it.
So from my perspective, after listening to a lot of like all of your music, it sounds inspiring. Like you're able to like that COVID song, I thought it sounded like a real like event that happened, but you said you made like it was like a story that you wrote.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, so like you're inspiring and you have a lot of depth behind your lyrics. That's what it comes down to. And it's music for the world. Even though it's specifically hip hop, it's still music for the world. Like people can still listen to it and then relate to it, even if they're not an underground head or a hip hop head. So that is why I think like your music can be sold to that like to Volkswagen and to Peloton and to companies because that's the type of music that I feel that they can put behind something or in front of something and anybody anywhere around the world can appreciate or listen to that song and still bob their head. It doesn't sound like Griselda, it doesn't sound, Ice Cube. It sounds original. It sounds from the heart. It sounds like you, man. So that's my perspective on why these companies have an appeal for your music.
I really appreciate that, man. That's actually been one of my biggest, outside of the financials, it's also been one of the coolest parts of my life is hearing my songs in different mediums. It's always been a dream of mine to hear my shit and to be a star of a car commercial. Like they didn't just use my song, I was like the star of it, which was like what? Like, they flew me out to Pamplona, Spain to film the experience that before. I'd never been outside of the country, so especially to get on a plane for 12 hours was crazy. Then like because of that, subsequently I did the Reeperbahn Festival in Hamburg, Germany, which was crazy. I was like, what is going on? So like that truly it changed my perception of the music industry because to hear my stuff in the car commercial was crazy. To be in a hotel lobby and look up at the TV and then watch this Peloton commercial and hear my song in it, it was really dope. It's just like, what is going on, man? Like, and then I've also had my song Underdog Central was in a movie, Netflix film called Burning Sands. Shout out to my dog K the Beast, he made the beat. If you go, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but if you go on Netflix, a movie called Burning Sands about fraternity life. My song Underdog Central was in that. Also had my song Homecoming was in a movie called Black and Blue with Tyrese. It's like a cop film here in New
Mm,
Orleans. So I've had like a few instances on one of the only things left is feature film, like in movie theaters before theaters go away and in a video game. It was like the last two, uh, you know, uh,
okay.
fields that I haven't jumped in yet. But that was something that truly like, it was like, whoa, cause when you make hip hop, especially coming from New Orleans, right? New Orleans, you said it earlier, like you love the hip hop that comes from New Orleans, but I've said it a million times, New Orleans is not a hip hop city. We have a lot of hip hop here, 1,000%, but it's not a hip hop city. And so hip hop is not embraced. And so to get to hear over the years and year after year, like, hey man, what you do is cool, but it's not marketable. You need to do this. Or hey, you should do this. To be like, nah, but Peloton thought my stuff was marketable, right?
Yep.
Volkswagen, Netflix thought it was marketable or whatever, right? So like
Yeah.
that kind of um finds the thoughts that I already had in my brain, like, yo, I think this stuff is good outside of the ego and what comes with that, but just more like, nah, this stuff is actually objectively good and
Yes.
it's really dope to kind of be regard.
No, that makes complete sense, man. When you I'd say this. I'm a huge underground hip hop head. Like I've said this 1,000 times and I'll continue saying it. I love the underground sound, like the Griseldas sound. That is my shit, like from way back. Like before Griselda, like when it was Necro and R.A. the Rugged Man, like those guys. But I love making like Afro house. I like making synthwave. My inspirations are like 80s music, 80s synths, like all of that stuff. Like I love like who who's that? Who shot Meg the Stallion? What was that dude's name again? Underfoot.
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez. When he did that whole 80s vibe thing. Remember that album? Like it was like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
I
Oh,
Tory
okay.
fans. I'm not even familiar with his.
Dude, I'm not a Tory fan either, but I liked the production of it. And I wanted to hear because I like when people push their limits, their creative like limits, because I feel like that's the peak of
Mhm.
their understanding when it comes to the creative mind. Whenever I hear that, it appeals to me because I know the artist is on his A game, like he's running at 100 miles an hour in his brain. You know, the producers are running at 100 miles an hour on in his brain. So, yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I hear that in your music. Like, I heard the evolution, and I actually have my questions like right here, and it's going into one of the questions. I heard the evolution throughout all of your projects, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. But for the people watching, Banks has produced, or when I say produced, he's made 5 albums, 32 singles, 36 collaborations. That is not; those aren't small numbers, you know. So my question, like going into another question, is that a routine? How do you make so much music? And, like, what is your philosophy behind collaborations? I know that's a fully loaded question, but, because you collab a lot, you make a lot, and with life going on, trying to become a full-time or being a full-time artist, like, how do you balance all of that together, and what's your philosophy on collaborating?
You know, it's really crazy from the outside, you being on the outside looking in and saying that consistency and stuff, because that's not what I see. You're asking me, how do I balance it? I don't think I do it well, actually. I think
Okay.
I suck at balancing my life. But because I am a full investor, I don't have a PR. Well, you know, I work with my girl Angelique Phipps. She's my publicist from time to time, but not on a consistent basis. And so I'm the one that has to reach out to, so for you to hit me up was just like, oh man, this is so beautiful. And, it happens more and more because of who I am and stuff like that. But, I still have to like shoot people messages and, create the dialogue to kind of get where I want to go and stuff like that. So to be honest, music is like fourth in line. I don't even make a lot of music. I usually, my previous formula was I take about 2 to 3 months out of the year and I make all the music I'm going to make for that year, and then the rest of the year is just me touring and doing as many shows as I can to try to get the word out about who I am and what I got going on. And things have kind of changed now because more people reach out for features, and people have always like kind of reached out for features and stuff. Pretty much starting around like 2016, people started really hitting me up for features, and that's another stream of income that I have. And so I do a lot of features with people, just by proxy of just, being somewhat notable, and also just being a dope ass rapper. People want me on the songs. The projects, man, to be honest, I think I think I drop music every year. I'm not sure. To be
Okay.
honest, a lot of this stuff is a blur. One guy standing by himself means a lot. So I kind of like outside. So the beautiful is kind of where like I feel like things like picked up and started for me, like my actual, like, oh, okay, we're really out here. Because the beautiful, like, charted on Billboard, it charted on iTunes, was like one of my biggest projects ever. Anybody that knows my music, they consider that project my classic or whatever. Honestly, man, I just kind of, it sounds so whack, but I kind of go with the flow. If I if it's been about 6 months and I'm like, wait, I haven't put out no music. Okay, I think I need to put out some music, and I just kind of like create, and then somebody reaches out to me, hey man, there's this project we'd love for you to be on, whether it's a rapper that wants you, or there's like a play that we want you to make a song for it, or like I got talking recently about a musical that I'm supposed to be to some degree helping with. I don't know. But like things like that. Like I kind of like take projects on as they come.
Okay.
And this new album that I got coming out called this one is the second project I had made during the pandemic, but now it's finally coming out. So it's coming out 5 years later. So that's what I mean by like I don't always have everything like on a set timeline. It just kind of like happens when it happens because I was in a duo called Saskik Sav, and from 2002 to 2005, that shit kind of took up all my attention, and that was like what I was doing, and we went hella viral and like was killing the internet and stuff like that, and so that was like my focus. So my solo career kind of like took a hiatus for like 3 years. You know what I mean? I was still doing stuff and I still put out music, but it wasn't my focus. So to hear you say that, to come back around, it's like, oh shit, word, thanks, man. Glad it looks like that from the outside looking in, because on the inside, I'm like a headless chicken in a maze. Is what it feels like. But luckily, um, I feel like the way that I approach music is so excellent that like it gives me the room to fuck up, I guess.
I get it. I get it. The reason why I asked that question is because I've talked to artists where their sole focus is just like the output of their music. And a lot of artists, they think about, they do that. like I want 10 projects this year, or I want 100 songs a year. Like they're not putting a number to it, but they're working at their music, like at the quantity. Or for you to say, I make music like 3 months out of the year, and then I focus on everything else that I need to do. Like at one point, that's what you were doing. I think sheds a lot of light and uncertainty, or maybe somebody's watching this and they need to pivot a little bit because they're solely focused on just making the music. They're not doing all of the other things that are required for them to, progress in their creative career. So I think that's refreshing. I honestly needed to hear that as well.
It's something I've been kind of like flushing out the past like 6 months. My relationship to the business of music, because I took the business of music serious more than I've ever taken the music of music serious, right?
Mm,
I always knew that if I was going to be a full rapper, if I was going to really do this, I looked at it like it was a hustle, like it's a grind, not a hustle like I'm a hustle this game, but like, okay, for me to get where I gotta go, I'm gonna have to bust my ass because I make a style of music that my hometown doesn't really get behind. So I gotta go outside. I don't have no money. How the fuck am I gonna do that? Okay, well, I'm gonna have to be a roadie. Or I'm gonna have to help people set up their merch and set up their equipment just to get a song on their set. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to. So like I always approached it from that angle. Music creation was like fifth in line, fourth in line. Making music was just it wasn't the most important thing because out of necessity, because anybody who could just focus on music, I envy them every
mm,
single day of the week. I have 9 jobs that I do every single day to make this music thing happen. And focusing on music, I talk to Pell a lot. My dog Pell, incredible artist. If you don't know him, you should look him up. If you like those kind of synths and stuff, he's super. If you imagine if like Kid Cudi was from New Orleans. Dude is like nuts, but he's like even better. He's super cool. But I always listen to him, and he's created a life for himself where he does so much music that he can just focus on music because the music is what creates the revenue for him to be able to do the things he does, whatever, whatever. And so like I'm so jealous of that. It's like, damn, I wish I could just sit down and just make music all the time. That should be so tight, so tight. But if I did that, I would have to get a day job. If I just sat in my house and just made me, because I didn't pivot my career to be like a person that makes music for licensing or just for licensing or make music to sell people so they use the music and go out and go do whatever they do and I just get the residuals. I didn't make my life like that. I wanted to be a performing recording artist. You know what I mean? But I want to be a performing artist with no investor, no labels, no buzz, no big homies, no famous cosigns. I'm coming from the ground up with it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so I realized I had to do everything. I had to be my own graphic designer, my own booking agent, my own website upkeep, my own merchandise. I had to design my merch. I had to find people to press it. I had to do my own inventory. I got to be my road manager. I got to be my driver. I got to be the person that settles up at night. Then I got to talk to all the fans after I rock the shows. Then I got to get in the car and drive to the next one. And you're talking about one guy doing all those jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with people that can just focus, salute to you, and I wish I could get that one day.
What's your goal? Like, what's your way forward, I should say? When it's all said and done, or when you say you finally got that stride where you can kind of decompress a little bit? Because you know how we are, like as far as creators, like you're always gonna apply like self pressure some way,
They always
somehow.
gonna
Exactly. So, like, where are you trying to go? Like, what's the ultimate goal or way forward for you? Even though there might not be a destination, there's always the journey. But what's going like? What are you trying to pursue next? Like in your next level up? Does that make sense?
I'm living my dream right
Okay.
now. My is to just do what I do at a higher level. I already tour the world. I already put out projects. People care about them.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a woman make a rap. I did a show in Los Angeles a couple of days ago, and one of my fans literally cried meeting me.
Mm,
And she went on Instagram and wrote a rap about how she met me. And she says I'm number 3 in her top 5. Um, so I'm already living the dream, you know? I'm
perfect, man.
just want to live it. And like, I just want to do everything that I'm already doing, just do it at a higher clip, as it
Okay,
were.
that's it right there. Then just do it at a higher capacity of what you're already doing. I like. I don't know if you've heard the quote, but there is no destination. There's only the journey. So if you're living your dream through the journey, you're having a fulfilling life, you know. And one of my favorite quotes. It's also going to lead into another question. What like one of my favorite questions is fulfillment is the highest sense of compensation. So if you're living a fulfilling life, then it's better than being fucking paid, you know? Because what do rich people do? They go and set up a something to or create a thing for donations so they can go help some people out in some other country. You know, like because it makes them feel good. It's fulfilling. So yeah, man. I think you're doing, you know, I'm a nobody, but I think you're doing everything pretty damn right, man. Like I'm enjoying the journey as I've
Nobody.
seen it with you.
You're not a nobody, man. You have a podcast mic in front of you. You're somebody.
Appreciate it, bro. The question that I was gonna ask next was, I think it was in a song you mentioned books. So, do you have favorite books or authors or any top books?
I don't read like I used to, which is pretty lame. But when I was reading really tough, I love reading autobiographies,
Mm,
and I love wrestling. So I've read all of like two of Mick Foley's books. I read Kurt Angle's book, "It's True Is True." What other books have I read, man? I have a book that I've had for about 7 years now that I'm halfway through. I just never finished reading it. It's How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci.
mm.
It's about try to activating like parts of your brain. I need to actually crack that book back open. I just realized when you asked me because nobody asked me about books. It's probably because I'm black. People don't think I know how to read, but no, I'm just kidding. But the book I terrible joke, but I haven't cracked that book open in like 5 years, 6 years. But I don't read like I used to. I don't really have the time to really sit down and read like I used to. But now that you said it out loud, man, I'm gonna try to make some time. I got a drive coming up soon, so I think I might crack open this book and get to thinking like Leonardo da Vinci.
Imma give you a gem right now. The way that I do it is I will, especially for you, somebody like you, like always on the road, buy the audiobook. It's an investment. It's like, fuck, 20 bucks, 25 bucks, you know, like and you have to pay for it. But at the same time, like you can just listen to it on the road. And then once you complete the book, what I do is I'll buy the physical copy as though it's a trophy, and then I can reference it if I want to.
Mm.
So I would say, like, if you want to get
Hell yeah.
into it,
Hell yeah.
like, buy the audiobook, listen to it on the road, maybe make that a rule. Hey, 3 hours of this road trip, because I know you'd be driving around the country. So yeah, man, like you just do that.
Hell
That's
yeah.
that's what I would do.
You know what's funny, man? I need to, because what was the book? Will Smith's book that came out a couple years ago. A friend of mine did the cover of it. He designed the cover, and my man B Mike. And so I wanted to kind of dive into that book and kind of because Will Smith is one of my favorite people on the planet, and I wanted to really kind of see where his mind was at. And so that might be the first book I actually listened to on audio, like audiobook.
Okay. Heck yeah. All right, man. And then I think, oh, you sing. So tell me about your
Yeah.
singing, man. So like, have you, how, like, just,
Oof.
you just shot for it or what? Like, did you just say, I'm going to try it? And then you just did it?
So I gotta give my mom all the credit in the world for my singing voice. My mom, she has the voice of an angel. She sings like me like 20 times over. She is and my oldest brother Landis, he could harmonize. And I just consider myself a middle ground between those two people where I could just harmonize really well. I don't really know if my voice is great. I'm still trying to figure it out. I've never taken lessons or anything. So like what you're hearing is me trying to figure that shit out in real time every time I do it. I just know that when I hear stuff, I don't know how to read music. I don't know music theory. I took music theory in college for a semester. And I passed that class with like a B, but I don't remember none of that shit. So I just know I just know that like for me, I hear stuff and I'm like, like how can I get this across? Like I listen to a song, I listen to a beat, and naturally the first thing I'm finding is the harmony, right? Because I know I could probably find somebody to sing the chorus, but the time to wait to get them to sing it, are probably not gonna wait. So like I could sing it. Like I got this song that I just wrote. My man JT Beats by JT just sent me. He sent me a monster record. And I wrote it with someone in mind to sing the chorus. I know what I think I know, I'm probably gonna wind up singing the chorus my damn self. And so I
Mm,
just approach every song that I'm gonna sing, okay, what's the melody in this record? What's the melody that would sound good in the key of this song? I don't even know what the key is of this song. I just know what it sounds like,
mhm.
and I try to and just
Yeah.
find it. And once I find feels good and what sounds good, I find the harmony in that, and then I play it for somebody. Be like, "Hey, was I correct?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, man, this is great." And luckily, I'm like 96 and 0 as it pertains to finding harmony. People are like, "Oh yeah, you got it." And when I was in the duo, the guy who I was in the group with, the producer, I would like try to find harmonies and stuff. He's like, "Yeah, you got it," and I'm like, "Oh snap, okay, word." So singing, man, is nerve wracking. It's scary stuff. It's always scary. One of the things about me is when I'm on stage and I'm singing, I usually sing with my eyes closed because it's so scary to do. But people lately been giving me a lot of compliments, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm still trying to get it to where I could give myself a compliment on it, though. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's okay. I think
No,
it's okay.
yeah, it's good, man. The reason why I was like super excited when I heard you sing, I was like, because I love hip hop so much, and my voice is higher pitch a lot, So like, I can't be a like you got a deep voice. You can rap. You can command a room with a deep voice, right? I have to command a room with my communication, and if I'm when I'm doing my music, I have to sing at a higher pitch. So like The Weekend, I love The Weekend, and because he like showed me like, oh, you can sing if you have a high pitch and you're a male, So I ran with that, and yeah, I've had a lot of people like say like, oh, your voice is not normal, like it sounds really good. Now my production, on the other hand, like learning music and stuff, like it won't sound all like as good as your music, but I'll still put it out there. I'll do it shamelessly. I used to be nervous about it, but now I'll just do it shamelessly. I just produce and send it out, DistroKid, upload it, cover art, boom, just for fun. But yeah, man, I think that's cool that
Come on
you're
now.
you're rapping, singing, tour. You're doing everything, bro. I don't know how you have the brain juice.
I will say this about the brain juice is hilarious. I got to hit you with a pause on that for my New York folks. Brain juice is hilarious. I'm just folks.
What does that mean?
Nah, but like whenever you say something that's like kind of catches someone off guard in the weird way, it's like, hey, yo, pause. But
All
it's
right.
um. We'll say this with my singing. I'm singing more than I ever have now. And now when I write raps, singing is a part of the song creation now, which ever been, which is more in the past like 4 years. Like 4 years, like 2022, 2021 is the first time I could truly say like I was, because anything before that, since you've listened to my stuff, you go back and listen to it now with this in mind, a lot of like my song, my album, The Beautiful. There's a lot of songs I wish I could redo because I didn't have the confidence, and there were certain songs where I'm singing and I'm not singing to the fullness of my voice because I'm scared. I didn't, I didn't want people to really hear my singing voice. But there was just certain parts I just could not sing. I had to sing this part. So now as I've gotten older and create like this new project I got coming out called Month, there is no features on the whole project. I'm singing all the choruses, I'm singing all the background vocals, like anything you hear is my voice. I'm doing all the layers, I'm doing all the stuff. And now I have a little bit more confidence doing it because I do know it sounds pretty good, it sounds good. And people like it and people sing it back to me, which is pretty cool. So I just as I've get inevitably there will be a project where I don't rap and I just sing the whole thing. I'm probably gonna ask Pell to produce it, but we'll see.
Okay, dude, that's badass. And that's what I mean, like, when we were talking about when creators or artists are, like, pushing their limits, like, that's a perfect example. Like, eventually, you are gonna make a singing album that's gonna be badass. But,
It's gonna be the scary stuff. I'm sure it'll be amazing.
no, I get it. You're right. It's gonna be scary and it's gonna be amazing. So, last thing, man, I like to leave off with, like, let's say there's, like, 30 younger artists that are trying to pursue something like that's damn near exactly what you're trying to pursue or what you've already done. And there's like some like classroom setting where you can like stand up and say, all right, I want you to know that like you want them to know certain things. There's do's and don'ts, some sort of wisdom. Is there anything that you can give to anybody that's watching this, like that they can take with them and run with as they pursue their, you know,
First thing is, I'll say this all the time. Whatever it is that you're chasing, you gotta love it and want to do it, even if you wouldn't make any money from it. That's first and foremost. Because for the longest, I didn't make any money from it, and I still chased it every day. So you gotta love it, and you have to love it past the accomplishments of it, right? The adulation, the love, and the high fives you get. You gotta love it past that, because there'll be days when you won't get that, and you have to be the one to really fuel it up and go do it. So you gotta love it past the money, love it past the adulation. Two, it has to be the only thing on the planet that matters. Like it has at some point in your life, it has to be the thing that has ruined relationships, or like it's the reason to what separates you from all the other people in your life who just aren't as focused as you. Like you have to love this thing with everything in your body. You have to also learn how to do more than just the thing you want to be known for. You got to learn how to multitask. You got to learn how to do different jobs. You got to be really good at it. I
okay.
always say if you're really good at what you do it for a very long time and you never stop, there's no reason why you can't be successful. And so for me, that's one of the reasons why I don't even have an ego like that, is because I knew I was going to be successful because I'm really good at what I do. I've done it for a very long time and I never quit. And that's not even ego. That's not cockiness. That's just like the truth.
Objectively true.
Because like success is gonna happen. This was supposed to happen, right? Like, cause I'm really good. Just how hard I had to work to get to the success is the part that sucks the most. But I was gonna get to it anyway because I'm wild nice. I'm a dope ass rapper. I got a pretty good singing voice. I work my ass off. I move with morality, and I move with a pure heart. Like I'm not really
Yeah.
I don't like fucking over people. That's not really in my house, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say love it past the success. Know how to do more than one thing in your field, and be obnoxiously, undeniably amazing at what you do, and
Yeah.
she'll work out.
All right, dude. That was great wisdom right there. Great wisdom. I have a encore. What is it called? An encore question though. It's lighthearted. The shoe thing. So
Okay.
how did that
Word.
how did that become a thing, man? Oh, and a fan. My bad. And a fan also asked the question. Your top three shoes. Somebody asked the question like, what are your top
Oh
three
shit.
shoes?
Top three shoes. Number one shoe of all time is the Nike Terminator Swagger colorway. One shoe is brown, one shoe Ashio. That's how the shoe comes. It's super tight. It's very reminiscent of a very specific time in my life. I love that shoe. I have that shoe. When I did my Volkswagen commercial, first check I got, I bought that shoe.
Mm,
Jordan 8 Peapod colorway. It's like cobalt blue with orange guts. It's my favorite Jordan of all time. And I don't really do Jordans like I used to, but I love that shoe. And number three, probably be the Nike. It's a tie between the Nike Air Stab and the Nike Air Tech Agassi, the third iteration of that shoe. Those two shoes are just amazing. Andre Agassi is an incredible tennis player. Not a huge tennis like that, other than and Venus Williams, but that shoe is just incredible. And the Nike Air Stab is just an incredible running shoe. It's super tight, classic shoe, both from the '90s. So those are my three shoes. But
okay.
the sneaker thing started. My man K the Beast, me and him was having like a powwow one day, and I was just kind of looking what was next, what was gonna be the next thing for me. And went through a weird time, and I kind of want to get back to the raps, get back to the essence of just rhyming and just having fun with words. And he was like, "Man, how about you do something like in the same vein of some other stuff you were doing?" I was like, "Okay, word." And I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be something that I want people to know me for. Like, because what I learned in other musical outfits was if you go viral or like something big happens and a lot of attention comes your way, that's what you're gonna be known for. So you might as well
Okay.
do something you like, you're comfortable with. Don't do something where you're chasing a thing, because if you blow up in that thing, then now you have to do that. And if you
Makes
pivot, because
sense.
if you pivot from that, you even rock with the stuff. So I was like, okay, I like sneakers and I like rapping. And the sneaker switch thing is what I do to open my sets. It's very Mr. Rogers-esque as my intro. I don't do it for every show, but I do it for the big ones. And
Okay.
so I've been doing that since, I'll say 12. And so I was like, let me just do the camera. And I also have like 200 pairs of sneakers. So it's like, this is
Okay.
easy. Just do it. And so that series is me showing off my shoes because I'm ego like that. I'm gluttonous. And then also showing versatility as an MC, because I don't know how many of you watched, but if you ever have about 2 hours of nothing to do, you should go back to the bottom, because I've done like 140 of those videos already. So if you go to the bottom and just watch, I did 45 days straight initially, and I rapped over everything you can think of, like things that were not rap. I rapped over the YouTube survey music. I rapped over Pokemon route music. I rapped over Devo Whip It. I rapped over the Proclaimers, 500 miles. I rapped like all those things over all, as well as rapping over Lil Wayne Shine and like Juvenile Han and Eminem Stan and all the stuff in between. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want to show people that now I rhyme really well. I can literally rap over anything you put. As long as that bitch has a metronome in a pocket, I'm finding it and I'm rapping
All right.
over it, because I really believe that like there's not a lot of people as nice as me when it comes to the bars. Like I'm wild nice, and but I want to get that point across without even saying it how nice I am. But in the
Yeah, I know
raps,
what
I'm
you mean.
talking about how nice I am. The super nice inception. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
All right. Yeah, that answers all my questions, man. And you are super nice. That's why I wanted to interview you, because I'm like, this guy is he's super nice as a hip hop enthusiast that loves lyricism, and he has the like. How would a legend in 2026, like if you go forward like 20 years, how would a legend of 2026 20 years from now, when you look back, like how would that be? Like, what would that look like for an artist that's in 2026 right now when you're looking back? You know what I mean? It's going to be somebody that has the originality, the bars, the picture, like what like with the shoe thing, like something to remember you by. Like you're doing you're doing the tours, you're doing the shows, you're doing the merch, you're doing everything. So it's like you look like a future legend, man. And like I respect that grind and that hustle that you have. So just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. This is the Creator Dreams podcast. I will talk to you guys later, and definitely check out lifeisconquest.com, where I'm going to be writing an article based off this conversation, and it's strictly focused on helping creators do what they need to do to accomplish their goals in life. So, peace out.